Welcome back to RoofScreen. Today we'll be showing you how to install RoofScreen VisionGuard Louvers. VisionGuard Louvers are primarily used as vision barriers on equipment screens, though they can be used in a variety of other applications including facades and architectural embellishments. This video will cover the basic techniques of louver install with horizontal orientation, but please keep in mind that every project is unique and some details may not be covered in these instructions. Before starting the installation, it is important to review your shop drawings in conjunction with your installation manual. These drawings contain detailed information on how to properly install louvers on your specific project. The first step in this process is to refer to your shop drawings to see where your girts are designed to be installed. For this install, I'm measuring 1 foot from the top of framing for the first row of girts and 3'6" from the top for the second row. Next, I will install the square-to-square brackets on center to our measurements using S10 Tech screws. This process will be repeated for all the vertical attachment points. For the majority of this install, I'll be utilizing these orange quick clamps you see here. If installing with multiple people, clamps will not be necessary. Per my shop drawings, each square-to-square bracket requires 2 screws per side. Remember, your drawings may be different. These vertical posts have been installed on a perfectly level surface, so I'll use the same measurements as I did for the first post to position the square-to-square brackets. If you're installing on a substrate that is not plumber level, you may want to utilize a laser level or string line to ensure the brackets are installed at the correct locations to make for perfectly level horizontal girts. I'm going to continue screwing in the brackets on the outer post and move on to the middle post using the same measurements and methods. You'll likely have more than one middle post. Here's a close-up of the square-to-square brackets being installed to the middle post. Note the standard diagonal screw placement, and please remember to refer to your shop drawings to double-check quantity and placement for your project. Once the square-to-square connector brackets are in place, we can install our horizontal girts. These slide in easily to the square-to-square connectors. Check to ensure the girts are level and in the correct position. Then, secure them using the provided Tech screws. Again, we're using 4 screws per bracket here, but refer to your shop drawings for your project's quantity. Here I'm using a measuring tape to confirm the girt is on center as specified in the shop drawings. Once we have the bottom girt secured with Tech screws, we can move on to the next step. Here is our setup with the square girts in place and ready for Louver Trees. In this segment of the video, we will be showing you how to install Louver Trees utilizing our angle brackets. Louver trees are typically mounted to a flat surface like a solid wall or horizontal girt using an angle bracket supplied with the VisionGuard Louver system. In this case, we're attaching to horizontal girts. The Louver tree is the vertical support member for mounting the continuous louver blades and is pre-assembled by RoofScreen with the clips mounted and spaced to match the louver blade spacing specified on the project. The first step in mounting louver trees is installing our angle brackets. Placement of these brackets are detailed in your project's specified shop drawings. Once angle brackets are installed, the louver trees will attach to them, creating a Z shape. Here, I've used a laser level to measure the location of each angle bracket as detailed in the shop drawings. I'm clamping them, then checking to ensure they're plumb. The angle brackets are attached with bigger S35 Tech screws. I'm using 2 screws per bracket on a diagonal per the shop drawings. Your project may require more. I'll repeat this process until all 6 of our angle brackets are installed. Here I'm using a level to ensure everything is plumb, and I swear I've used one of these before. Now it's time to install the Louver Trees. Always start by installing the first tree at the beginning of a straight run, making sure it's positioned at the specified height for the louver run and perfectly plumb. We want the top of the blade level with the post. The 1 foot dimension and the 11 1/8 dimension indicate that the top of the blade is 7/8 of an inch above the tree, so you'll want the top of the tree to be 7/8 of an inch below the frame. Once positioned correctly, use the S35 Tech screws to fasten the tree to the angle bracket. Then, move to the last tree in the louver run and repeat the process. Next, pull a string line from the top of the first tree to the top of the last tree. It's essential to make sure the string line is perfectly straight, or the louvers will be difficult to align. If the run is long or it's windy, it's recommended to use a laser level. Once the string line is in place, install the remaining trees between the 2 runs at the specified spacing in the shop drawings. I'm going to go ahead and get our middle tree installed, and then we can move on to the next step. Now that we have our trees set up, it's time for the fun part, installing the louver blades. The louvers snap into pre-installed clips on the trees by rotating the louver blade. Note, louvers must be installed from the bottom up. Start with the bottom row on a corner or an end of a straight run, and install the remaining rows of louvers. As the louver blades are installed along straight runs, the end-to-end joints must be centered on clips to create a splice. To accomplish this, ensure the louver trees are installed in a location so that each louver being spliced is halfway on the clip. The louvers are secured by installing 1 Tech screw through the top of the blade into each clip. This Tech screw must be placed before installing the following row of blades, as your drill may not fit between the rows. For the sake of this video, I'm snapping louvers into place without securing with Tech screws. In the field, please use a Tech screw to secure the louvers in place as previously demonstrated. Consider the temperature variations when installing our louvers. Large temperature swings of 50 degrees or more can cause blades to expand and contract up to 1/8 of an inch. In cold temperatures, it's recommended to leave an 1/8 inch gap between blade sections. In mild temperatures, reduce the gap to a 1/16 inch. In hotter temperatures, butt the blades right up next to each other with no gap. Following these guidelines will ensure there is no damage caused by excessive expansion or contraction of the blades. It's important to perform a final quality control inspection. Check that all of the Tech screws have been installed and remove leftover shavings. Pick up any screws and other miscellaneous items that may have been dropped to prevent damaging the roof membrane should someone step on them and to prevent rust stains. And that's it. With these basic steps, you can successfully install RoofScreen VisionGuard Louvers. If you have any questions or need additional assistance, please feel free to contact us. We hope this video was helpful and wish you a successful installation.